Hey Alex, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How's your day going so far?
Hey man, life is great, man. I can't complain.
Good to hear that.
Yeah, man.
So
Go
I
ahead.
saw the email. I read it. Didn't really look at the pictures. I didn't have time to. I didn't read the messages, the breakdown of how it works. Um, what's it called? I personally think it's a little bit high. $50 per job and 20 to 40. I don't charge too much, so I don't know if it'll be worth it to me. But if you wanted to give me an understanding of how it works, then I kind
R-
of have a better.
Right. All right. So let's. Well, I'm glad that you opened the email, so you got a gist of what I do. But let's start with this. So, how much do you actually charge per job? Like when you go out to do a job, how much is the cost of your services?
So I do dump trailer rentals, 1 day rentals, 2 day rentals. I've been charging 225 for 1 day rentals, 275 for 2 day rentals. I recently upped the price to 275 for 1 day rentals
Nice.
and 325 for 2 day rentals. I'm booked. I have jobs and stuff and all that. But ever since I upped the price, it's been a little slower, to be honest. So I don't know if it's the season or the prices, but I wanted to try it out.
Right.
What I was charging, I feel too low.
So this is what I say, Alex. The type of people who come to basically come out and rent out your trucks, right? Um,
Uh-huh.
what do they actually, if you don't mind getting too much into detail, what do they actually do with your trucks? Like, do they use it to move furniture? Do they use it to complete jobs? What are the type of activities that they do?
Yeah. So when I say I rent it out, that means that I park it in their home or business or whatever property they're doing work on,
Right.
and I don't give them access to it. Basically, I'm letting them fill it up with junk, and then I take it to the landfill. So
Oh, okay. I got you. I got you.
yeah,
Right.
it's like a dumpster. You can say like dumpster rentals. They leave their house, fill it up, and then they come pick it up. It's like
Yeah.
that, but with a dumpster instead of a dumpster.
Right. So here's my take on what you're doing. I think truly that you made the right call up in the price for your, renting out your trucks. It's just a matter of, who can afford the cost. Because honestly, what you're charging compared to the standard, that's pretty low, to be honest with you. Now,
Yeah.
to you, it might seem like that's a little high, it's kind of pricey. But given, the city and the environment and the amount of people who are in Los Angeles, that's fairly cheap, man. I think you're actually selling yourself short on the price. And the reason I
Right.
said that is because since you read through the email, I'll just briefly touch on it before we get deeper in the conversation. But the people, the type of customers that I would be sending your way to rent out your vehicle, your trucks, their income is a minimum of 25,000 upwards of. Typically, I do 100,000, but since you're in LA, I can make it to where I can do people with an income of 50,000 upwards to a quarter million, half a million. I mean, there's really not a price range unless you only want to deal with a specific type of person. But I honestly think
Right.
that you're like selling yourself short. So the price range that you got it for is actually a good price point, and we can definitely get a lot of customers, coming to rent out your trucks. But here's the thing that I want to explain before we, get deeper into the conversation. So
Sure.
about the $50 that I charge, that's only the only time I will receive the $50 is after your customers come to you, they rent out your truck, and then they're done for the day. So let's just put this in like let me paint a picture for you. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna run an ad for your business, right? And we're gonna target Los
Right.
Angeles because that's where you are. Um,
Right.
so we're gonna send a customer. Oh, do you have a website, by the way, or you just doing this through the phone? How do you go about accepting business like prospects?
Right. And this is a good question. This is one of the reasons why I've been doing it for a lower price. So I have a full time job, and I had 2 months where I was off, so I started doing this kind of like a little side hustle. And I've been using Craigslist, uh, Facebook, um, and Opera, handing out business cards, word of mouth. Pretty much been doing it kind of outside of Google and things like that.
Yep.
And that's one of the reasons why I charge lower is because I'm still testing the waters to see if if I want to take it to where I'm registering an actual business name. I'm getting my commercial insurance for my truck and my trailer. I'm registering for the Department of Transportation, etc.
Got you. Got you. So this is what I was getting at was if you have a website, right? And you have, let's say we set up a page on your website where we're only going to send qualified people. So again, we're going to base this off income. The age it'll fluctuate, but more than likely we'll probably see people in their, I say late 20s, probably through upper 50s, and
Right.
we'll run an ad, right? So then we send them to the website. They'll fill out a questionnaire, which is just qualifying them to make sure that they're actually capable, not only just affording your truck, but also
Right.
capable of that they're able to do what they need to do, and they'll have it back within a certain time frame. And then the best part is if we can get them to go for the 2 day, because the 2 day it seems to be like your upsell, like the one that you have for the first day, that's just your initial offer to get them in the door. But if we can get them in on the 2 day offer, you'll maximize your return on investment like that. So that would be,
Right.
the initial goal. But of course, we'll eventually like to take that cold audience to a warm audience. So we'll start with the 1 day, and given that you've been doing this for a while, I'm sure that they'll have a great customer experience, and they'll probably come back again. And then we'll just, we'll build on the repeat customers, but we'll mainly focus on like a cold audience, and we'll nurture them to turn them warm so that they keep coming back to you consistently. So you won't have to, keep going out and do what you've been doing to get customers. And the reason I said that is because the way how I set up Facebook ads, that's where I primarily specialize. Like I optimize my ads for conversions, meaning that, the end result is for them to come to you, or, however you have them meet up to get the truck, and then y'all discuss what y'all need to discuss. They give you the money, and then they complete the job. And then at the end of the day, you got how much did you say you charge for 1 day? $250, 275.
Uh, 275 for the 1 day.
Yeah, so then that's 275 in your pocket. So that's ultimately the end goal that I'm seeing for your business. So let me ask you this: where are you now, right now in your business, versus where you would like to be? Like where do you want this business to go?
Well, I would like to be able to build this up to a point where I have someone doing the pickups and the drop offs for me, and I'm basically just making money off out of the business that I built while not really doing any physical labor.
Got you. Yeah, yeah. I can definitely I can relate to that. So here's what I could say to you about that, and then we can kick things off. Ultimately, I believe that that's a very achievable goal. I feel that we could get you enough customers because I insured you. I can get you at least 5 to 10 jobs per week. I don't want to over maximize your schedule to the point that you got too many jobs that it's too much to handle. I mean that's a good thing, right? But I don't want you to feel like you're overwhelmed by excessive work. But I feel if we had like a good 30 days, maybe a good 60 days, and then we just get everything going based on the price points that you offered, I could definitely see your business going upwards anywhere a high 4 figures to a very high 5 figures. And that should give you enough room for you to, start scaling out and getting more employees. So then you can just be on the back burner, and then you have your
Right.
employees going out, you know, getting people in the trucks and whatnot. So that would be
Right.
ultimately the long term vision that I would like to see for your business come to fruition. So it's just so right now it's just you doing all the trucks, like renting them out by yourself. It's just you. You don't work with anyone else.
Correct. It's just me. I do the pickups and the drop offs, and I take it to the landfill and dump them.
Okay, okay. So let me ask you this: when you go about doing that, what what is the best time that you're available? Do you have a certain schedule that you have, or do you just do it based on someone comes to you and they go, I want to rent out one of your trucks, and then you just give or take. This takes about what, an hour or two to complete.
So I prefer doing morning drop offs before 9 a.m. On the 1 day rentals, I technically the agreement is to go pick it up the following morning. Most customers are okay with me picking it up that evening, and I prefer that because I'd rather bring the trailer home than leave it somewhere overnight, where it can be vandalized and stolen. But I prefer doing the drop offs before 9 a.m. So let's say if a customer contacted me at 4 p.m. I may do the drop off that evening if they need it right away, but I'll try to have them set up an appointment to do a drop off before 9 p.m. either the following day if I'm available, or any day that I'm free.
Right, right. Definitely understand because you want to have fluctuation within your schedule. I can understand that. So let me ask you another question. So I know you're mainly based in Los Angeles, but have you thought about branching out to different cities like let's say what's near Los Angeles, like Beverly Hills or San Francisco? Would you be open to that idea? Like if I was to run a Facebook ad, for example, and we're going to target Los Angeles, of course, but let's say we run a Facebook ad for Los Angeles within a 25-mile radius. Would you be open to the idea of going to other cities in the surrounding area?
I'm in Los Angeles County. Los Angeles City also, as you know, Los Angeles is really big. I'm in somewhere called the San Fernando Valley. It's about 18 miles from downtown LA. I'm about 12 miles from Beverly Hills, Brentwood, heard of those areas, Bel Air, about 20 minutes away from Santa Monica, just with no traffic.
Nice, man.
But yeah, as of right now, since I only have one trailer, and then like I mentioned, I have a full-time job. I'm trying to stay in the valley first.
Yep.
Um, I want to get to a point where I can get a second trailer. When I get a second trailer, then I might have a buddy of mine work for me, and then I wouldn't mind going a little bit farther. As of right now, I prefer staying within a 15-mile radius, but I'm not totally against going as far as the 25-mile radius.
Okay, okay, yeah, we can definitely do that. I can definitely narrow it down so that, we can only target the valley and then we'll just do like 15-mile radius. But that's nice, man. You're basically like in the middle of all the big cities. Um, yeah, there's a lot of opportunity. So, going upon the email that I sent you, I don't know if you had a chance to look at like the brief ad preview of which I attached, but when I was creating the ad for like your business, I seen that within your area there's at least a minimum of 8.3 million people. So, yes, last time we talked, I was telling you about how I can get you in front of like 1,000 people for, I think it was like $40, $50, and get you like a customer for around like $20, $40, right? But based on the
Right.
fact that the population is so huge that a lot of people is going to be able to see your offer for your services. So those numbers might actually go down. Now, again, we gotta let Facebook, tell the data and determine what they feel is best suited for the cost of your services. But given that the population is so huge, I could definitely see them numbers actually being lower than what I actually, explained to you what it would be. But here's the kicker of all that. So let me break down some numbers for you. Actually, let me ask you this before I break down the numbers. I want you to tell me, because you said you got a full time job. So, um, would you be able to do how many hours are you working at your full time job? Like you doing a full 80 hours every 2 weeks?
Correct.
Okay. So, what days do you actually have time to go about like doing your truck services? Do you do this after work, or is this something you do like on the weekends?
Before and after work, that's why I prefer before 9 a.m.
Right.
And then when customers let me pick it up in the evening, I can go after work. And
Nice.
then Saturday is pretty much free all day. Sunday is free all day.
So it seems like, because I don't want you to be tired, from working your job and then you go out and let's say like I get you 3 jobs that day, and then the next day you going right back into your job. Like I don't want you to be like exhausted, right? But
Right.
I feel like if we were to do this, I could get you, depending on your energy and how much you want to do that day. I could realistically see you getting at least 2 jobs a day for like Monday through Friday. And since you said you have most of your time available on Saturday, Saturday could be the day where we scale everything up. And if you're open to the idea, we could possibly get you 4 or 5 jobs on Saturdays, since that seems to be the time where you have most of your freedom. So I'm going to crunch some numbers here so I can give you a perspective of how much you could possibly expect to make in a week, right? So you say you
Right.
charge 275. Let's say we do. Let's say I get you 2 jobs a day, right? So off the bat for one day, that's $550 in your pocket just for like 2 jobs. So then we do that.
If I can interrupt real quick, Bernard, I just think it's important. So with this trailer rental,
Yeah.
the customer has the right to it for either 24 hours or 48 hours, depending on how much they need it for.
Yep.
Hypothetically speaking, if all my customers were 48-hour rentals, I can only rent out that trailer 3 times a week because that would be 6 days divided by 2-day rentals would
Yep.
be three. If I get the 1-day rental, then it would be obviously up to 7 jobs a week. Now with that being said, I'd only be able to what's the word? I'd only be able to accept 1 job a day if they were 1-day rentals,
Yep.
or up to 3 jobs, or depending on if it's 1 day, and then 2 days, the next 2 days. But I definitely can't do more than 1 job in
Per
one
day.
day because I
Yep.
only have one trailer.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad that you said that because that put things in perspective. So, okay, let me do it this way then. So, if you say that you only have one trailer, right, and you can only do one job at a time because they rent out for 24 hours. So, let's say we get you one job a day. So, let's say, okay, let me do this. So, it's 275. So, we're going to do both. We're going to do the 2 day, the 48 hours, and then we're going to do the one day. So, let's do the one day. So we get you one job a day, Monday through Friday. That's 275. We times that by 5. That's you're looking at $1,375 in your pocket, right? And that's only Monday through Friday. But if we want to add Saturday on there, weekly you're looking at $1,650 in your pocket, right? So that's just for the
Right.
one day. So how much did you say you charge again for the 48 hours?
For the 48 hours for 2-day rentals is at 325.
325. So that means, yeah, we would only be able to get you about 3 jobs a week, right? So
Right.
you
Right.
you be
So the
like,
1-day rentals are more lucrative.
yeah, that would be the more lucrative option, just for you seeing the most return on your investment, right? Because I
Right.
mean, I'm not against doing the 2 day, right? I'm all about making the most money that I can make for you, right? Because if you make money, I make money, and then you'll be happy, right? That's ultimately
Right.
the end goal. So I feel like when we start running the Facebook ads, we should focus on doing the one day, like as many one days that we can get. So that way we can start building up as much capital as we can for you. And also we can see the average cost per customer on Facebook. So once we get that number of the cost per customer on Facebook, I can scale this up to the moon. The only thing that you would have to tell me is, "Hey Bernardo, I'm full. Can you shut down the ad? Can you pause the ad?" And I'll just have nonstop, consistent business. Some we go with the 1 day option, but
Right.
the 2 day option, I feel that would be in your best benefit for the purpose of energy purposes. Like that would give you
Right.
time to rest, and it will also give you time to clean out the truck or do what you need to do, and then after the 2 day, the next day when we get your next job, you can have it ready to go, and then we could base it off
Right.
that, right? But that's
Right.
ultimately the scenario of how it will play out. So yeah, there's a lot of potential to be made in the business that you're offering, but realistically, my goal that I want to get for you, you know, moving forward in the future, let's just say like the next 60 to 90 days, would be to make you as much money as I can, not for the purpose of just you making your money, but also for the purpose of that what you can do with this capital, so I can eventually get you to, from where you are right now to where you want to be, which is you hiring more people to do the groundwork, and all you have to do is just close the deal when the customer comes to you about renting out your truck. Plus, it'll also give you enough money for you to start getting more trucks, meaning, we can expand from just the valley, and then we can start targeting all the other cities. That's ultimately the long term vision that I envision for your business, is what I would like to do. So, hit, bringing everything back full circle, like I said, the only time I get paid is when you get paid. So it's not like you paying me like soon as you get the job, right? So you only pay me once a week. It's not like you pay me that same day. I mean, you can. That'd be nice. But you don't have to pay me that same day. You can pay me weekly on like a Monday or Friday, somewhere in between there, right? And then all that money that you make through the week, that's yours, right? And since we only doing like one job, one job a day, hypothetically, right? So I'm taking less than 1/3 of your overall profit. So you're keeping at least a minimum of 1,205, $1,205, somewhere along that, and that's in your pocket per week. And if we times that by 4, you're looking at 5 grand a month. So that's ultimately what I would like to do for your business, or explain how I would go about getting paid. Now, the only investment that we both need to decide, because it seems like you're interested in what I have to offer you, is the amount of ad spend that you're open to investing to run on Facebook ads, right? So, tell me, I got an ideal number in my head which would be perfect for us to just get this off the ground running. But tell me, how much capital do you have to invest right now in running Facebook ads for your business? And I want to be clear, the money that you invest for your business, I don't touch any of this money. This is just going purely into Facebook to get you jobs. So I'm not touching any of this money. I don't get paid till you get paid. This is just strictly running ads for your business.
Right. Now, this initial, I'm sorry,
Go ahead, I'm still here.
this initial ad that we're talking about right now, what does it consist of? Is it an ad that targets customers one day, 24 hours? How do these ads work? Something that
Okay.
triggers or
So here's how the ads gonna work, right? So I'm gonna go into my ads manager account. I'm gonna set the ad up for conversions, meaning purchases, which is ultimately the customer coming to where you meet them, and they give you the money to rent out the vehicle. So the way how I run ads for my business is I let them run. I mean, we could do a 24-hour period. However, I have noticed that Facebook typically optimizes better when the ad is run consistently. Now, I'm not going to run, a crazy amount of money if we're not making money. Obviously, I'll stop it, we'll make some adjustments, and we'll find what needs to be done so that we get the end result that we're looking for at an affordable price point, of course. But typically, I like to run Facebook ads for at least 48 to 72 hours, because that gives Facebook time to go through the valley, right where you are, and then that'll show us how many customers respond to your ad. Because once they respond to your ad, that shows that they have an interest in the opportunity of what you're providing them. Now, upon running your ad, what I will need from you is content. So that could be pictures, videos. Actually, video would be your best option, because if you do videos, I can retarget everyone who watches your video, regardless if they click on your offer or not, and I can continue retargeting them until they get to the point where they're like, you know what? I keep seeing this ad pop up everywhere. I see it on Facebook. I see it on Instagram. Why not just give this offer a try, right? And then initially they'll end up coming to you and go, I've seen your ad so many times, man. I'm here now. Let's just do it. So that's how I go about running the ad. But given that, how old are you, Alex?
I'm 24.
Right. So we're basically in the same age demographic. I'm 29, so we're both like post millennials, right? So
Right.
Our demographic, like I said, it'll probably be people in their mid 20s upwards. I could see like upwards of people in their early 50s. I feel like that would be a good demographic. Now I'm gonna let Facebook decide this, of course, and then once we get enough data, I can come to you and then I can go exactly. Okay, Alex. So our customers tend to be men, 34. They have at least $50,000 a year, and they're interested in XYZ, right? That's ultimately the end goal. Cause then okay, so I just need to put my ad in front of men who's 34 and they got this amount of money. Cool, I understand that. It makes
Right.
sense. So that's ultimately how I would go about running the ads. But like I said, Facebook typically takes about 48 to 72 hours before it optimizes consistently. No, I have seen it work in occasions where it does work in a 24-hour period. And if it does do that, which, fingers crossed that it does, because that's what we both want. The sooner the better, right? If it does do that, I'll stop the ad because, I want you to get your job. Like, all right, so let's say this. I run the ad for 24 hours and someone takes you up on the 48 hours, right, that you offer. So
Right.
we'll look at that and we'll see how much that cost us to get that customer. So let's say we run that we run that ad for the Valley and we get a customer. It's a man. Let's say that man's 40 years old, right? So right off the bat, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a note of that and I'm going to confirm with you, did this 40-year-old man come to you to come rent out a truck? He'll tell me yes or no. So let's say yes, that he does it, right? So then right there, I'll write that down like in a notepad or I'll keep it in a note. I'm going to keep you updated on all this, of course, right? So I'm going to have that on notepad and go, all right, so our first customer was a man. He's 40 years old. He makes about, let's say, $75,000 a year, right? So we'll write that down.
Right.
That's our first demographic. So then what I would do is I would run two ad sets, after the 48 hours, of course, because, the job's complete. He went about his business. You got your money. He's happy. Everyone wins. So then what I'll do, I'll run the second ad upon that. But in the second ad, because we already have our first customer who's 40 and makes an income of $75,000, I'll adjust that ad to only target men who's 40 who make that X amount of money while still having the first initial ad, of anywhere between 24 through 65 plus to still try and get Facebook to optimize. So that'll be
Right.
the strategy of how I will go about getting you your customers. And then
Understood.
once we figure out how much our cost per acquisition is to acquire a customer, we can scale this to the moon. Or we can just scale this based on how much time you had to invest.
Right. Okay. I get it. Basically, in the beginning, you're just trying to collect data to see how you can target that. I guess get a more bang for your buck.
Yeah,
You have a better idea of what to target.
because I want to get you the best return on investment that I can, return on ad spend. So let's say that we get that 40-year-old customer. Let's say that costs us $75, right? And you do the 48 package for think you said it's 325.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's do 325 minus 75. So you can say for every $75 that you spend, you make $250 back. Because that makes sense to you.
Right.
Because then that's rinse and repeat. You go, okay, I spent $75 to get a customer, I make $250 back, right? So that would
Right.
ultimately be the plan. Now, of course, we want to lower that number to get as low that we can, but we still want qualified buyers. I don't want to send you anyone who can't afford your services. That's just not worth your time. But I
Right.
do I do want to send you people who have the capital to afford your services. We just have to figure out what that particular number is according to Facebook to get that actual number. And then from there it's just duplication, scale, rinse and repeat until we get to the point where we can get you a second truck. And then once we get a second truck, that's where everything gets real fun. But more than likely, being realistic, the second truck, if we was to run an ad going from the day forward, the second truck probably wouldn't happen until like a month from now. Because we want to see how many
Right.
jobs we can get for this month. So let's say we get in total, let's say we get about 15 jobs this month, right? Because it's still early in the month. Today is only the 12th, and there's 31 days, in the month of January. So that gives us 19 days to see how many customers we can get. Or if you want to do the whole 30 days, we can do it January 12th to February 12th, and we can see how many jobs in total we'll get. Now, once we get to the minimum of at least 5 to 10 customers, we'll have our average our average cost per acquisition to get a customer, which based if we get like 10 customers, right, or 15, that number should be a solid number. Like it should be exactly $50, maybe 75. It just depends, right? But once we had that number, your whole life's going to change, right? And that's ultimately the plan, because you want your business to rise, right? Because this is something you want to do, or is this just something like you like to do on the side? Would you like for your business to become your full-time income?
Yeah, I would.
Right. I feel you. I feel you. So that's ultimately the plan that I have for you. It's just a matter of testing our creatives against the Facebook, platform, and seeing who responds to what and how much it's going to cost us. And then from there, like I said, it's just rinse and repeat, and then the sky's the limit.
Got it. So, question for you, Bernard. I appreciate that information. So, initially, you say you recommend running an ad anywhere between like 48 to 72 hours
Yep.
consistently, right? All the way through.
Yep.
Seeing where that takes us.
Yeah, that's ultimately the plan. Like when we begin running ads, I'm just going to let the ad run for like 48 to 72 hours. Now, I will be keeping my eye on the ad because, I just don't want to run, ads if it's not like showing no type of interest. Because even if we can get like someone to at least pick up the phone and call, but let's say that they call you, but you tell them the price, you qualify them, and then they go, they need to think about it. Even if they need to think about it, because they responded to your ad, I can show them your ad again. So let me ask you this, right? Let's say that happens. I get you a customer, they call you, they go, I'm interested, but the price or the time frame, right? And you go, okay, I can work around that, I can work with you, something like that, right? Let me ask you this. When I go about retargeting everyone who sees your video or your pictures, right? Would you be open? You don't have to say yes to this question. It's perfectly fine if you don't. But would you be open to give them a discount? Like, okay, so let's say we get someone who's interested in the 48 hours. That's 325. They go, I can do it, but could you come down on the price a little? So let's say you go from 325 to 300, right? Would you be open to doing something like that?
Depending on how much the customer acquisition costs, I would.
Okay. Yeah, so that's basically how I would go about retargeting. So the way how I'm going to have it set up, I'm going to launch multiple ads at the same time, right? But in the beginning, I'm only going to launch one ad. So once we figure out our cost per acquisition and we like start seeing like 2 to 5 customers come in and they start buying, that's when I'll start launching the retargeting ad, and then we can talk around the discount so that you still making your money, but it's not costing you an arm and leg, right?
Right, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, how much was an initial investment to run an ad for 72 hours? How much would that be?
So here's the thing about that, because for each one of my clients, I like to personalize the package for them, right, around their specific needs. I don't like to just throw out a number and then just say, this is what I charge my clients, this is how much I feel. For you specifically, based on you working, your 80 hours, based on you just having one truck, based on you, being able to work possibly a job a day, I think the minimum that you should spend for the 48 through, well, let me say this before I tell you the number. It depends on how fast you would be able to respond to the job. Now, based on the number that I tell you or you tell me and we go back and forth, right? It depends on how fast you be able to respond to the job. So let's say we come to a number that we both can agree on and we'll just let it run, right? And then you get the job that day. Would you be able to complete it? Like as soon as the ad pops up and then, the person comes to your business and they're ready to do it, would you be able to do it that same day?
Right now, I'm actually pretty booked this week. The soonest I have availability is like the beginning of next week. So
Okay, that's not an issue. Yeah, I'm glad we identified that. Um, but yeah, so what I think you should invest. Typically, I like to tell my clients that they should invest at least $2,000. Now, I'm not going to say that specifically for you based on your situation. For your situation, I believe that you should invest anywhere between, for the initial 72 hours, at least $500 through at least $750. And the reason I say that is because we're going to put that money into the ad spend. Again, I'm not touching any of this money. This is just going into your Facebook ads. But the reason why I said that is because if we give Facebook, the more money we give Facebook, the more they're able to go through their network and figure out which person specifically is best for this initial offering. Because the offer that you're offering is not exactly a low ticket offer, but it's not also a high ticket offer because you're not charging thousands of dollars for your services. You're charging like I said, you're charging a fairly affordable amount. And we need to figure out, okay, Facebook, I'm going to give you, let's say like $500, right? So we're going to set it so that Facebook spends at least was 500 divided by 3. That's like close to 175. So let's say we spend like $175 in this 3 days, right? We should be able
Right.
to at least pull out 2 to 3 customers out of that. Or, we might pull out two. It just depends on Facebook. But we have to figure out, okay, Facebook, how much money do we need to give you to get to the customer? And the fastest way to do that is by investing a decent amount of capital up front so that way we can get the results as quickly as possible. But given that we won't start any jobs until next week because that's when you have availability in your schedule. Does that make sense to you?
Right. Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me, and it definitely sounds like something I would be interested in. But more so if I had more trailers. Like for example, as of right now, I mentioned that I use Craigslist. I'm sure you've heard of the app Thumbtack and OfferUp, and just my family putting things on Facebook. And I spend about $15 a day on Craigslist, and I pretty much get a customer every day. So as of right now, like you said, because of where I live, I'm sure that helps a lot. For $15 a day, I'm able to get a customer. So in the week, best case scenario, 15 times 5, $75 for 5 customers. It's working out pretty well for me. If I had more trailers, then running an ad on Facebook and spending a couple $100 or even more than that would be worth it because in the long term, I'm going to be able to handle all of the jobs that come in and if you were spending that amount of money. But right now, because it's not so expensive for me to get customers, I don't know if I'd be wanting or willing to do that where I'm at right now with just one trailer.
Right, right. I understand because you've already figured out your cost per acquisition on a platform that works for you, which right now seems to be Craigslist. I get that. So let me offer you another suggestion. How about
Sure.
how about this? So do you have a website?
No, I don't have a website.
Okay, so you're just doing word of mouth right now. So
Pretty much.
you're going basically you're just putting yourself out there on Craigslist and you seem. Wait, are you running ads on Craigslist or are you just getting customers for like $15? How's that working for you?
Yeah, Craigslist, if you're selling a car or if you're selling services, Craigslist charges you $5 per post. If you're just selling items, fridge or whatever, table is free. So if I'm selling a service, I go to the service page and I pay $5 per ad and I put 3 ads up a day, one early morning, one probably early afternoon, and then one closer towards the evening, and that's how I spread it out. There's a lot of people on there.
Yeah, yeah. Craigslist is there's definitely a lot of people on the platform. So here's what I'm thinking right now. Based on the fact that you're getting customers for, you said you're making 3 posts a day, that's costing you about $15, and so basically one out of every 3 of your posts lands you towards landing a customer, which giving you a nice return on investment on your behalf. That's awesome. That's spectacular, actually. But here's the thing about that: when you go about doing that with Craigslist, you're not able to look are you, correct me if I'm wrong, are you able to look into the data? Like, does Craigslist tell you, the name? Well, of course they tell you the name,
No,
but
none of that. No demographics,
yeah.
age, nothing comes out of that. Because I'm sure with Craigslist, you don't need to have an account to go on it. So whoever is calling you, one of them doesn't even have an account.
Okay, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so here's what I want to do for you. I want you I want you to keep running Craigslist, obviously, because it's working for you. But at the same time, I still want to do business with you because, not trying to jinx you or anything, but Craigslist is working right now, right? And
Yeah.
it's been working for you for some time now, I'm assuming, or has it just now started catching fire?
No, it's been working for me since I got on it.
Nice, nice. So here's what I want to do. What I want to do for you is I want you to keep, do what you're doing on Craigslist, but at the same time, I still want to help you scale up your business to get you that second truck. So what I initially want to do is I want you to continue running your ads or your posts on Craigslist, but at the same time, I still do want to run ads for your business. And the reason why I say I want to do this is because ultimately I do want to get you to the point where you're making, let's just set a number at, let's just say 5 grand a month, right? Ultimately, I would
Right.
like for you to get there because you're getting customers on Craigslist and it seems that you're getting jobs. But how much would you say that you're making a month on Craigslist?
On Craigslist, take home like around 2,000.
Right, right. So that's
Could be a
good.
little less, could be more.
And that's
Yeah.
progress. That's progress because a lot of people can't make 2 grand a month. So kudos to you. But all
Thank
right, I want to put this in perspective for you. So you making 2 grand a month of what you found was working for you, right? That's 2 grand.
you. Right.
But let's say that we can add an additional 5 grand on top of that. So now you're making 7 grand. So now you have room to get your, LLC, of course, and then you can tell your buddy, hey man, I'm making good money. I'm making 7 grand a month. Come work with me, right? So then you
Right.
got a partner helping you, and then with your partner helping you, let's say, how much do it cost you to get these trucks, if you don't mind me asking?
The trailer,
Yeah.
6,000.
Oh, okay, yeah, 6,000. So what I'm thinking is, if I can, let me not say if, when I'm able to bring you in that additional 5 grand, and you're making 2 grand, so you'll take that 6,000 to get your second truck, right? So for the first month, you got the money, you got 7 grand, but you put 6 grand into the truck. But now what you added an asset because you have a second truck, and you also got your buddy working for you. So then in the second month, when you move forward, that 7 grand's all yours, versus what you pay your friend to help you out. And then let's say the
Right.
third month, that's another 7 grand for you, and then you have 14,000 plus you still have your two trucks, right? So then if you so
Right.
chose to, you could go out and get a third truck, right? So at that point, you're at
Right.
the point where you don't have to do any other work. You just go send out your buddies. You go, all right, here we got this job. You go here. I got the second truck. You go here. But yet you're still keeping all the money. So let's say in the third month, your take home is 8 grand, right? But in total,
Right.
of our 3 months working together, you made like 21 grand, right? Because you making 2 grand from Craigslist, and I'm bringing you additional 5 grand from Facebook, right? So then ultimately, in 3 months' time, you're where you want to be. Plus, you got 3 trucks running out, two of your buddies handling your business, and all you have to do is sit back and close the deal as you continue to do what you do on Craigslist, while I continue to run ads on Facebook for you. And you're in the driver's seat getting close to, let's say, month 4. At that point, I mean, you could get a fourth truck, not necessarily, you don't need it, but just strictly from the ad perspective or the investment perspective, you're sitting at close to over 10 grand a month in like 4 months. And if you scare that out for the rest of the year, just coasting on 10 grand, you could be potentially looking at, let's see, 4 months from now, that'd be May. You could be potentially looking at 50, 60 grand for the rest of this year. Like just assuming
Right.
that we keep you on a 10,000 per month basis. That's a lot of money, man,
right?
especially for like
Yeah,
your business.
yeah, it is, and I hear you. I like math. So I run the numbers myself. Everything very familiar to what I put out. But with me right now, it's not even so much um, getting customers. I'm getting it's getting these trailers, especially because of what's going on with the pandemic
Yeah.
and the trailers, manufacturers in my area out here. They're charging extra for steel because there's a shortage, or so they say. And it's about a month delayed to get the trailer. So I'm already in the works of getting another trailer. I wanted to get out, go get it take care of that. So they said it could take 3 months to get that.
Oh, nice, man. Yeah, that's even better than what I just said.
Yeah,
So yeah, we
maybe
could.
out of state or something. So the issue right now is not that I wouldn't want to run those ads on Facebook. I would. If I had 3 trailers sitting in my yard right now, I'd say, hey, let's do it right now. The issue is that I I know for a fact that I have more work than I can handle because just these little platforms that I'm using. There's times where I have to tell customers no, which is why I'm already working on the second truck. So I think to even run anything on Facebook right now, I definitely want to do it, and I don't want to take time to learn how to do it myself. So I wouldn't mind paying a little more to have someone like yourself do it for me. I just think right now it's not the ideal time.
I completely understand. I completely understand from where you are. So let me ask you this because I do want to do business with you, and it seems that you're very interested in the opportunity I have to offer you. So how about we do this? You said you're in the process now of getting your second vehicle.
Yeah, I'm gonna go this weekend to go try to get a second one. I haven't put it down here this weekend. I'm planning on going this weekend and going back to the manufacturer and ordering one.
Okay, so here's my proposal for you. So right now you basically you're not having an issue with getting customers because you just told me you're sending customers away. So let's look forward to this in like 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from now you have your second vehicle. I'm just going to speak it into existence for you. So 2 weeks from now you have your second vehicle, right? So now you're doing you're doing about 2 jobs a day, right? And you're still doing Craigslist, right? So at this point you're in a position where you go, okay, I'm getting close to the point of expanding. You you obviously saved yourself a lot of time by. I mean, I know you're gonna put down the down payment, but I don't think. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you're gonna come 6 grand out of pocket off bat, right?
No,
So you do that, and you have the second truck. So then you're doing 2 jobs a day, and you're still doing Craigslist. So here's what I want to do for you. I want to touch base back with you. Um, Today's the 12th. Let's say the end of this month, and let's see where you're at from there. And then once we touch base again, assuming you got your second truck and everything's up and running, let's bring up this idea. Let's re-engage in this conversation, and let's see if
right,
we can get something off the ground running for you. Because ultimately, I still want you to continue running Craigslist. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So I still
right,
want you to do that, but at the same time, I see a lot of potential for what you offer, given that you're just like in the middle of all the big cities. Plus, you're in the valley, which is a big city within itself. And
right,
based off what I've seen on Facebook for the last 10 years, I know that this can scale up to the moon. Like I said, I can realistically see you sitting on 10 grand a month where you don't have to do anything. I can realistically
yeah,
see that for you and your business, and however you decide to go about giving your friends their money, because just based on where you are, it makes sense because there's a lot of need for the services of which you offer. So I really do want to help your business from that aspect, and I want to help you from the aspect of giving you that financial freedom. So all you have to do is think, live, and breathe your job. Well, your business,
right,
not your job, right? Because you're still working full time. So we ultimately
right,
want to eliminate that. So where it's just I live off my business. That
right.
that sounds great to say. It's a great feeling when you
Right.
can go to someone, hey, what do you do for a living? Oh, I live off my business. This is my business, right? And then you network, and then you meet someone, and so on and so on. And I really want that for you because when I work with all of my clients, I tell them that's my initial goal for them. Besides, getting them customers, it's giving them that freedom of retiring them from their job. Because I'm sure you like your job and your job's nice, but imagine if you could turn that 80 hours working for someone else and flip that into working for yourself.
Right.
That feels a lot better, right? Because you're
Yeah.
building the asset versus building the asset for someone else. And that's why I tell all
Right.
my clients that's what I want for them, to be your own boss, which you are, but initially just go to your 9 to 5. I'm quit. I'm done. I'm finished here. And then you
Right.
can live comfortably going, I did it. I
Right.
made this, I created, I envisioned it, and it's here. So
Right.
yeah, I do want to touch base back with you
Sounds good.
at the end of this month and see what we can do.
Okay.
And yeah, it sounds like you're open to the idea. It's just you got a couple things that you need to get situated, and I can
Yeah.
completely relate to that.
Yeah, basically, I just need to go talk to different manufacturers and see who's probably the quickest one. Because some are telling me 3 months, some say 1 month, some say 2 months because they have to build it.
Yep.
It's not like purchasing a vehicle. Um, so I just want to go shop around, see who's the quickest. And I mean, as soon as I see myself getting one, this one took me a month to get, so probably a month. But they can somehow just speed it up or something, and then definitely. But by the end of this week or the end of next week, I should already have a decision on where I'm purchasing it, and then I have an idea of how soon I'm going to get that second trailer.
Yeah, yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. So yeah, let's do that then. So how about this? We'll do this then. So I'll still touch base with you at the end of this month, but I'll also call you. Today's Tuesday, so I'll call you. Let's say next Wednesday, not to
Mm-hmm.
discuss our conversation, but just to get an update of where you are as
Yeah.
far as getting like the second truck. So then that way we'll have an
Right.
idea of when you'll actually have the second truck, because you said it has to be built, which that's gonna take some time. So once we
Right.
figure out how long that takes, and once we figure out when it'll be up and ready, then we can rehash this conversation. And we can eventually get you up to that 10 grand a month place.
Sounds good. I'm 100% with that.
Okay. I appreciate your time, man. It's been great talking with you. Like I said, man, I'm
Like,
very interested in doing business with you. And I'm looking forward to getting you to that financial freedom part of your life.
I appreciate that, Bernard. I appreciate this conversation also, and I have you locked in my phone. So anytime after 6 p.m. is works for me.
Sounds good, man. I'll call back. I'll call you next Wednesday, just like I said, to see the estimate of how long it's going to take them to get your truck. And then, once we get that,
Okay.
we'll touch base again and we'll go from there. But sounds good, Alex,
All
man.
right.
I'll talk to
Okay.
you
I
next
appreciate
Wednesday,
that.
bro.
Okay. I'll keep an eye out. Appreciate that. Have a good night.
You too, Alex.
All right.
All right, so you don't typically see this on YouTube, but I decided to record it also for myself so that I can watch this back and take some notes, take some highlights of what I did. And that's typically how you go about closing the call. Now, excuse me, you heard him say that he was interested in closing the deal. Sorry, I don't have nothing to drink. I've been talking for an hour. But ultimately, he said that he doesn't have the labor to do so. And what I mean by labor, he only has one truck and he's looking to get his second truck. So he's going to put down a down deposit to get his second truck. Once he does that, I'm going to call him back because this is a hot lead. He wants my business. He wants to do business with me, and he wants to do business with what I'm able to offer him, which is financial freedom. And that's something you got to tell your customers. You can't just tell them that, hey, I want to, make you a lot of money. Who's to say they're not making money? I mean, you heard this man. He making 2 grand a month off Craigslist, right? That's crazy. But in the same sense, he's also still stuck in his 9 to 5, and I noticed that was a pain point. So I kept driving that home. I kept saying, hey man, let me help you get you out your job. Like I said, you're putting 80 hours in your job. What if you could do 80 hours for yourself? Think about that. So that's the main takeaway. I hope you got a lot of value out of this. I hope you took a lot of notes. And I will see you in the next one when I see you in the next one. But I am going to close that deal. It just wasn't today. But that doesn't mean that the deal wasn't closable. Have a good one. Thanks for watching. Peace.